the yodel. Hide 'em!
Shining like a forest.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee. And, well, yesterday I was working with a student of mine. She's the cutest kid, she's 8 years old. And then she was like, oh, I have a new favorite song. And then she was showing me a song from this movie. I think the name of the movie is K-pop Demon Hunters. And it actually sounded really good. And the song that we work on was a song Take Down. And since I find the group really good, like talking from that song alone, I wanted to listen to more of their stuff. And then I picked Golden, which seems that's going really, really well on YouTube right now. I haven't watched the movie, like the only song that I had a contact with was Takedown, and I like what I heard. So let's listen to one more, and why not with you guys. So if you're new here, my name is caioloesch. I'm a singer-songwriter and vocal coach. When it comes to the stuff that I write and I sing, I'm in the realm of rock and metal, but also pop music. So if you look me on Spotify, I'll leave it linked below. I have one song there that's more towards the pop side of things, and I have a couple that are more rock. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, I released an original of mine. It's called The Crown My Fall, and if you are into rock and metal, I'm pretty sure you like that song as well. I'll leave it linked down below. And when it comes to voice teaching and vocal coaching, I work with larynx physiology, larynx biomechanics. Basically, you have a bunch of muscles inside your larynx, and the approach that I have is, okay, how do we make these muscles behave in a way that will lead into the sounds that we want to achieve? Because the voice is not something that you are born with. The voice is something that you develop, that you build. Talking about that, I also have an online course called Building Your Voice. It's also linked down below. Now, without further ado, let's listen to K-pop Demon Hunters, Golden.
I was a ghost, I was alone. 두어진 길 속에 given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I live to life.
Okay, so that's... First of all, I really like the beat. And it's important to point out that I have no experience with K-pop as the musical genre whatsoever. And this is my fault. A lot of the things I listen to or what the students that I have are working on. So of course I have my playlist of songs that I like, but I'm also like every week listening to more stuff because each student is listening to something different and they want to like add something different into their practice repertoire. And I don't think I ever had to work with K-pop with a student, and it was not something that up to this point I was curious about looking into, but this sounds really, really cool. I like the beat. And, well, right in the beginning, we have two vocal schemes that are appearing a lot. One of them is the creaky voice. It's a kind of vocal distortion. Actually, this kind of vocal distortion here, where we have a mild crackling of the arytenoid cartilages. We don't have a lot of volume. It has to be more controlled. And this is a kind of distortion that we do every day when we are speaking, all right? Especially when we don't want a lot of volume. We just tend to let the voice like soft like this, and it happens in the middle between a stronger sound and then a softer sound. Whenever we are kind of in the middle, we might reach the creaky voice. And another vocal scheme that she's using there is the breathy voice. And the breathy voice is basically this softer scheme. We say that the vocal folds are passive here, and they are allowing a lot of breathiness, a lot of leak of air. So let's go back to the beginning for us to hear that.
I was a ghost, I was alone.
So, I was a ghost, right? Creaky and then breathy. I was a ghost, I was alone. And she's using that a lot.
두어진 길 속에
The breathy voice.
given Given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen.
And here the vocal folds are active. We have more muscle compression there. We said the vocal folds are active because we are mobilizing more blood into the vocal folds. Because of that, we say that they are closing by volition. That is, they are closing by muscle tension. The vocal folds can be closed in passive tension. That means that we are keeping the vocal folds relaxed. And then, as we are sending air, they are being sucked in. They are being pulled to the center by that air pressure. That's what we call the Coanda effect in physics. So we have some source of pressure, and then the tissue or the structure, for this case, the vocal folds, you are closing because of that pressure. And that's passive tension. Now, we say that the vocal folds are in active tension when they are closing by muscle tension, by muscle contraction. And that's the case here.
That I'm meant to be. I live two lives, try to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place.
And we have another singer. Let's look into that active sound one more time. And then we listen to the other singer.
I was a ghost, I was alone. 두어진 길 속에. Given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be.
Just singing, I was a queen, right? I was the queen that I was the queen that I'm. So the vocal folds there are active. We have that powerful sound. Some people might call that belting. Some people might call that chest mix. In terms of physiology, the vocal folds are active, and we are singing above like a range where we have some physiological changes inside vocal anthropophysiology, which is the theoretical line I follow, and I have as a foundation for my work as a voice teacher. We call that a worn voice, just because it is the same kind of behavior, the same concept, the same physiological adjustment that you would use to warn someone about something. Imagine that you're walking down the street and then you need to yell at someone to let them know maybe that something's coming, that you are in danger, and then you just shout. So that's the voice that you would use to warn someone. That's the reason we call that warn voice. All right, that's what she's using there. But then something really interesting that happens when the second singer starts to sing yodels. So let's listen.
I live two lives, try to
We have a lot of small breaks / cracks there. And that's the thing. As I like to say, I would like to hear your opinion, because some voice teachers do not agree with me when it comes to that. But I understand yodels, or those cracks, as a sign of vocal control. I've seen some teachers saying that, no, that's definitely a sign that the singer is not controlling their voice really well because their voice is just crackling. However, I understand that if you have the skill, the capabilities to be singing active, I am belting it out, and then I can control to have those small cracks and then return to active the way that she's doing here. It shows a sign of control, and you're also not keeping that same level of tension, not keeping the whole thing over compressed the whole time. We are playing around with that. So I like that when it comes to the sound, and this is extremely personal. You will like whatever you want to like, but also I think that requires some degree of skill to be able to do that. Of course, some people do that without even realizing it, and that's totally fine. The sound is the same. Even when you can't describe what you're doing, if you're doing it, you're doing it. So we have some yodels.
take both sides, but I couldn't find my own place.
Hear that? So active and then passive. If she wanted, she could sing active the whole time. It's just just a high B. I mean, it is high, but she was singing the A just fine. So she could have done that, but she decided to and that adds more color, more dynamics into the sound. Great.
Caught a fabulous child, 'cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. Could I see on stage? I'm done hiding, now I'm shining.
Hear how that's passive as well. We talked about passive. However, it's not a breathy anymore. We do have more volume and more closure there. Shining. We call that a Gregorian voice inside vocal anthropophysiology. And that's, that name is basically a tribute to the Gregorian chant, because this is one of the kinds of vocal behaviors that would happen inside Gregorian chant, like traditional Gregorian chant. This is one of the behaviors. Of course, not all of Gregorian chant would be this kind of sound, but it is a sound that would happen there. And inside vocal anthropophysiology, we just wanted to avoid those generic terms like falsetto, because we have a lot of controversy when it comes to that. It means different things to different people. So we wanted to avoid that. Hence, we call that the Gregorian voice. And then we also have some breathes. Pay attention to the breathiness in there, the airiness. Oh, that's something really cool there. Pay attention, we have some distortion there. It's really mild, but it is there. We're going up! Of course, she's not holding that, but there is a small distortion in there. We're going up! We're going up! We're going up! Right when she says in. Going! And this is, right now, it's probably appearing there as a transitional, as we call it, transitional vocal scheme. It's just a technique that happens in the middle of something else. However, if she wanted to keep that, probably she would add more subglottic pressure, more air, and make it a bit more nasal to make something like, go on! Which is what we call the how voice. You remember Janis Joplin? Is a similar concept when it comes to the distortion. You have a lot of hiss, sibilance in there. Go in, and it's close, but we need to make it a bit softer when it comes to the activation level. Go in, to make that sound. That's not the case here. Like, she wasn't going all into it, but like, it's mild, but it is there. I love the yodels at the end. Pay attention to how she's letting go at the end. The yodel. So, during my teenage years, I sang a lot of power metal, like Halloween, Angra, Stratovarius, Sonata Arctica, and that's the sort of like range that I would be singing. It is high. So that's cool. That's really, really cool.
Wake up and feel like me. Put these patterns all in the past now, and finally live like the girl they all see. No more hiding, now be shining like I'm born to be. 'Cause we are hunters, voices strong, and I know I believe.
Yeah. That's a high D. It is active there. It is a bit challenging to be singing with active vocal folds up there. Like, these singers are incredible. I want to listen to more of their stuff. I'm going up. Like, it is up there. anyway, the yodels here, some people call them cries, some people call them sighs, just like a terminology thing. Again, this is a big problem in vocal pedagogy and voice teaching in general. We have a lot of names, they don't mean the same thing to different people, and yeah, that becomes a huge problem. So anyway, every time that we have that break, that sudden break, that's what we call a yodel. Yodel would be defined by a sudden break, usually between an active and a passive schemes. It could be passive to active, or active to passive. Yeah, that's what they are. Again, some people will call them cries, some people will call them sighs. Okay. Now I want to watch this. I'm curious. Suppose they are like K-pop artists. They sing as their day job, but then at night they hunt demons, I suppose by the title and this music video. That is the case. I was asking my student as well, but she was like, oh, I haven't watched it, I just heard the songs and they are really nice. Well, anyway, guys, if you want to develop your own voice, learning all of these techniques that we heard here, learning the breathy voice, the creaky voice, other kinds of vocal distortions, and the other techniques as well, I want you to check out my online course. It's called Building Your Voice. It's linked down below, and there we talk about active vocal schemes, passive vocal schemes, how to properly warm up your voice. We talk about vocal physiology for you to understand the muscles that you have inside your larynx and what they do, how to properly exercise each of them. We talk about how to breathe properly for you to be able to support your voice using that subglottic, that air pressure. We have a module all on vocal distortions. As I said, we talk about the creaky, but we also talk about some heavier vocal distortions. Yeah. We have a vocal exercise library for you to exercise each of these techniques that you're learning, and also a bonus module with music theory for singers for you to understand more about notes, scales. So again, my course Building Your Voice, I'll leave it linked down below. And also, if you're curious about my own singing, sometimes you are listening to vocal coaches and we might be like, oh, but can this person like sing? Okay, they're talking so much about other people singing, but can they sing? And I have my own artistic career. I would love for you to check it out. So I'll also leave it linked down below. Listen to my new song, The Crown Might Fall. Let me know what you think about it. All right? As I always like to say here at the end of the video, if your concepts cannot be seen here in the real world, they must change, not the world. Enjoy your coffee. See you next time.